Good afternoon, everyone. I am so happy that you could join me again. If you were with me in the previous episode, you might recall that I purchased 8 quarts of locally grown strawberries, and I wish you were in my kitchen right now to smell these berries. They smell like the height of summer. Very sweet, very fragrant. I thought it would be fun to turn the berries into a freezer jam, and then once the jam has set up, we can make some crumpets. And they are really easy to make. So what I'm doing right now is removing the tops from about 2 pounds worth of strawberries, and I did already wash the berries. Now I'm going to just roughly cut up these berries. You can cut them in half or into quarters, and then we're going to mash them. There is nothing like locally grown strawberries. These are very different from the berries that I can buy at my local supermarket. Those berries, even in June, are not truly ripe. They don't have a lot of flavor the way locally grown berries do. So it's great fun to take advantage of strawberries when it is strawberry season. Now, we can put these berries in a bowl and mash them one layer at a time. Slide this over. And I'm just using a potato masher. Now, how much you mash the berries depends on how many pieces or chunks of strawberries you want in your jam. And you could certainly use a food processor or even a blender to chop the berries or to puree them. And this looks pretty good to me. I need to clean the decks here, and then we can move on to the next step. And I already have my half-pint jars all cleaned and ready to go. I have this towel under my cutting board because my cutting board tends to rock, and it makes a rather annoying sound. So I have my saucepan here and some sugar and a packet of Sure Gel pectin, and it's the formula for low or no sugar jams. So I need 3 cups of sugar, which sounds like a lot, but the traditional pectin for jam requires, I think, 7 cups of sugar. Sugar not only sweetens the berries, but it preserves the color and preserves the freshness. Sugar is a good preservative. And then in goes the pectin. And I need to whisk the pectin and the sugar together. It's pouring rain outside, so this is a very good rainy day project. Then I can add 1 cup of water, and we need to bring this to a boil at the stovetop. So I will bring this mixture to a boil while whisking slowly but constantly, and then the mixture needs to boil for 1 full minute. We have boiled for 1 full minute, and I did set my timer to make sure. And now you can either add the berries to the saucepan, or we can add the pectin mixture to the berries. I think I have enough room in this pan. And then stir the berries into the pectin mixture. I want my spurtle here. And then we can immediately transfer this mixture to the clean jars. And I want to make sure to leave about a ½ inch of headroom in each jar to allow for expansion in the freezer. I just grabbed another clean jar. So I think this will make about 7 half pints. Now, according to the directions I'm following, we are to immediately put a lid on each jar. These are screw-on lids that I can link in the description box below if you are interested. And as always, to see the full description, you simply click on the title of the video. And then we need to let this jam sit for a full 24 hours in order for it to set up completely. So I will see you tomorrow when we can taste test the jam and make the crumpets. Good morning, everyone. And what a hot morning it is. We are in the midst of a major heat wave. But I'm still going to make the crumpets as promised, and I'm following a recipe from John Kirkwood. It's written out in grams, so I will be using my scale. Now, I will link the recipe in the description box below. I need warm water and active dry yeast and sugar. And I'm going to mix this together. And then I want to let the yeast sit for about 10 minutes, just to prove to me that it is active. So the yeast will become foamy. And while we wait for the yeast to proof, I can go ahead and measure out the flour. Need my scale. Zero it out. And I'm looking for 180 grams. Put this away. And I need salt and baking powder. Whisk. I have the yeast in my proofing oven, and it is nice and foamy now. So we can add the yeast to the flour mixture. And we need to whisk this for a full 2 minutes. If you get bored of whisking after 1 minute, just change direction. By the way, my jam has set over here, even though it has not yet been a full 24 hours. And I did taste of it. It's delicious. And that's 2 minutes. So now we can scrape down the bowl. And I need to cover this. My cover is simply a towel. Then I'm going to pop this back into the proofing oven until the mixture becomes quite bubbly. That, according to the recipe, will take about 45 minutes. And just to stay productive during this proofing time, I need to go out to the herb garden to pull up the lettuce that has bolted. It is so hot outside. The lettuce that looked wonderful yesterday has suddenly shot way up, and it's getting ready to flower, which means it's really too bitter to eat. You and I planted this lettuce together back in April. The lettuce has kept me well fed since then, so I don't mind pulling it up today. We can plant green beans or some other fast-growing crop in its place. I will add the lettuce to my new compost pile, where it will eventually nourish my garden. Nothing goes to waste around here. We can rest for a moment in the shady serpentine garden. Then it's back to the kitchen, where our crumpet batter awaits us. So our crumpet batter is very bubbly and very much alive. And I am preheating my electric skillet to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. You could do this in a regular skillet on the stove top as well. And then I have my English muffin rings. Now these measure 3 inches in diameter and they are 1 inch deep. I'm not sure how many I'm going to need. I'm going to start with 4. And then we need to grease them. I'm going to use avocado spray. And the directions say to spoon the batter just halfway up the sides of the muffin rings. And I certainly have enough batter left for at least one more crumpet. And then we need to let these cook until the edges create bubbles and start to look dry. Then we can flip the crumpets. And I should mention that when I was outside pulling up the bolted lettuce, it is a sauna outside. Super hot, brutally humid. Let me know if you are a summer person or a winter person. I personally, I'm a winter person. Give me snow and a warm fireplace, a cup of tea or a martini, and I'm a happy camper. I never really explained what crumpets are. They are little British or maybe Scottish pastries. They are similar to English muffins, except you do not split them in half. You keep them whole, and then you toast them, and you top them with copious amounts of butter and something like strawberry jam. And as you can see, these muffins are starting to turn dry at the edge, which means they are almost ready to flip. And now we can remove the rings. And flip. And ta-da, crumpets are done. I'm going to transfer these to a wire rack. Now you can freeze crumpets. I'm going to let mine cool to room temperature. And then I'm going to toast at least one of them and top it with butter and the strawberry jam that you and I made together. And while we wait for these to come to room temperature, I need to go into the music room and do some light cleaning. I'm not doing a deep cleaning, just dusting and whatnot. I have fallen madly in love with the white-green cloth that one of you convinced me to buy. The cloth requires no chemicals. You simply saturate it with water and then wring it out thoroughly. The cloth polishes window glass and mirrors without any streaking. It also does a magnificent job removing dust and fingerprints from my pianos. I can link the cloth in the description below if you are interested. A freshly dusted piano always plays better. Toasted crumpets with butter and jam will be the reward for cleaning the music room. This jam set up beautifully. And I will put all of this jam in my freezer now. And we can enjoy our crumpets with butter and jam and some tea, which I forgot to make, Darjeeling autumnal tea that I buy from Tierra Farm. And I did warm the pot earlier. Hot tea on a hot day in an air-conditioned room, life is good. I left my apron on just in case any of this melted butter or strawberry jam should happen to dribble on my front. It's okay to get butter and jam on an apron. If you hear a humming sound, it is my air conditioner in this room, my much needed air conditioner. And now let's give this crumpet a taste test. I love this crumpet. It's yeasty, it's soft, but it's chewy, and it's light. And of course, the good quality butter and the homemade strawberry freezer jam with fresh local strawberries is exquisite. And I have a dog at my feet who would very much like to have her very own crumpet. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we made the strawberry freezer jam and we made these wonderful crumpets and we pulled up the now bolted lettuce. I got a lot of use out of that lettuce. I think I planted it, in early April, and it's now towards the end of June. And I will plant green beans where the lettuce used to grow. Again, thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And I can't wait to see you next time. Bye for now, friends.